That's when I knew I was like an adult, like, damn, I'm a big boy now. Like, I'm writing a check for $7,300. Like, okay. Hola, welcome to my 1-bedroom loft apartment in Brooklyn, New York. My name is Julian Thomas. I'm 30 years old and I live in a 1-bedroom apartment here in Bushwick, Brooklyn, where I pay $2,155 a month in rent. I am a freelance publicist and I'm also a content creator where I have a YouTube channel and produce a bunch of content about my apartment. So this is a loft apartment that is about 700 square feet. I would describe my style, if this is a thing, like Brooklyn bachelor chic. I really like color. I also like affordability. My friends, we call this apartment the fish tank because even when the train goes by, like you can just look into my apartment like it's a fish tank. I've been living in New York for 13 years and I've always lived within 1 mile radius of this apartment. And I'm just so used to this neighborhood, which means I am so used to that train. Like, it's to the point where it's like white noise for me. I have been living on my own since I was 23. Before I moved into this apartment, I was in, I would say maybe like a 300 to 400 square foot studio. It was like $1,300. During that time, I went from working full-time to freelancing. And when I made that jump, I saw my income grow pretty well. I feel very grateful that I had steady work during this time. I did have to borrow from my savings quite a bit, but my apartment still, fits into my budget quite well, so it works for me. I actually met the landlord years ago because I used to, go to a bunch of house parties in this building. I went to go look at an apartment here on the 4th floor, but that particular apartment was like $2,500, which was the top of my budget. And my lease in my old apartment didn't end until May, so I really wasn't too ready to move right then and there, but I became friends with the property manager during that moment. So after, like a couple months, she hits me up one day like, hey, I know the last apartment that you saw really didn't work out, but I have a new one that's on the 2nd floor. It's a lot cheaper, but there's a train right next to it, so maybe it would work for you. I think so, like come by and check it out. And so I did, and I fell in love, and I've been here ever since. I was really concerned that I was gonna have to do like a credit check. Like I still have to do loans, and I was like, ooh. Yeah, I don't really have the best of credit. I have cash though. Train. Can you hear the train? So I had my mom act as my guarantor, and my landlord ran, her background, and she filled out that paperwork on my behalf, which I'm very thankful for. And then also we had to obviously sign the lease, and because it's New York and it's an older building, some building infrastructure paperwork. I moved in, I had to pay first month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit, and a broker's fee. So that was about $7,300 total. I know that does seem like a lot of money to pay up front, especially for an apartment that does not have a dishwasher, but it's an investment. And over the years, this apartment has turned into my home. So I found it worth it. I mean, yeah, it was like a little hard to do, but at the same time, I worked very hard for that money. For 6 months, I saved, and I had my eye on this building and on this lifestyle, and I knew that it was the beginning of something that could really set me up for more opportunities later down the road, which it has. Bushwick over the years has changed a lot. In my particular part of the neighborhood, it's right off the J train, and this part has been a little bit more reluctant to gentrification, dare I say. It's still pretty gritty for the most part. So the only rule that my landlord has when it comes to renovations is to not tear down any walls. He encourages people to get creative in their apartments. Like no one apartment is the same in this building, which is really cool. And to be quite honest, I think he encourages it because he knows that he can get a value out of that once they leave. So right here is my kitchen. I like the fact that it's more about the function rather than the aesthetics. There is no built-in countertop space. So I had to like go garbage digging for a nice little kitchen island, which I like. So one thing I love about this apartment is that I can learn to do different DIY projects that I've seen somewhere else and try to replicate it here in my apartment and learn as I go. For instance, installing a tile backsplash. Now granted, it's not perfect, but I tried. So my whole platform is about kind of like shedding like the stigma and the stereotypes associated with like bachelors and, you know, the bachelor lifestyle. However, some stereotypes do ring true, especially what you see in my fridge. You know, it's a very bachelor fridge here. So right here is pretty much my dining area. I also like, when I work from home, I usually work from home right here. I used to have a puppy in this apartment, but obviously she grew so big and with these stairs, it just wasn't safe for her. So she's down south with my dad. So I installed this sliding door so she can just like stay out when needed. And yeah, I liked it, so I kept it. And then also I really like to use this like cubby system under my stairs for storage. So this is my living room. My living room was upstairs. When I would have friends over, they would have to go up and down those stairs, and I didn't like that. It's a liability because those stairs can be a little slippery. I recently swapped the two, moved my bedroom upstairs and turned this into my living room. And I'm usually only in here to just watch TV, play video games, and just chill out. It's, dare I say, my man cave. I hate that word, but that's essentially what it is. So with the wallpaper, that was one of my hardest DIYs ever. I installed this by myself, which is why it looks a little crooked. I found it on Etsy and it was like really cool and creative. I'm a Leo. Granted, it's not a lion, but it's a big cat, so it's close enough. So I really like it, but installing it was really, really hard. If you are installing wallpaper, I definitely recommend you get a friend to help you. My bedroom is probably my favorite part of my apartment. It didn't used to be, because this used to be like just my bed and storage. It is like my sanctuary. After a rough day, I can just like take a shower, come up here, read a book, and go to sleep. It is amazing. I love it. So I think my favorite part about my bedroom has to be this wall that I DIY'd. I just bought some planks from a hardware store and just threw it up and slapped on some paint. And there you go. So I have a total of 29 plants, and this year I've only killed 3, which is a record for me. This apartment did not have any like built-in closets or storage, anything. So I had to be a little creative when, you know, storing my clothes. So I just bought some racks from IKEA and kind of like use it as like, dare I say, like a fourth wall almost. It does block the light from below, which actually helps me sleep a little bit more. And then obviously it's a good place to like store clothes and hang clothes and like sheets and towels and all that good stuff. So right here is my bathroom, and I have to admit I'm a little embarrassed by it because it's so outdated and in such bad shape. It's pretty bad. Like a wall is crumbling, it's very pink, it's very old. So I definitely can't wait to kind of like put my magic to it. I know that, you know, for some people who aren't used to like city life, especially in a city like New York, the amount of money that I pay in rent might seem exuberant, but for me, I think this is a great deal, especially for the layout and the location. I can be in Lower Manhattan in 15 minutes. And also like the idea of home ownership in this city is just so expensive. So I plan on staying in this apartment for at least 2 more years, but a maximum of 4. Ideally, I would love to be able to buy a home in this neighborhood or maybe in the neighborhood over. And so I want to use like the next 2 years to build my credit, to save money. And I do know that I think 2 years is like a good time to do that, but depending on how the market goes, I'm giving myself 4 as a nice little buffer.